Karooooo has released its annual results, reporting strong growth in Cartrack subscribers, subscription revenue and operating profit. However, the group noted that subscription revenue, while driven by strong subscriber growth, was partially offset by a modest decline in average revenue per user. CEO Zach Callisto called the period a year of strong execution, impactful innovation and significant progress. He unpacks that performance in greater detail. Now, Zach, thanks for your time this evening. I know it's about 11 o'clock, so on your side, so we'll make this quick. Another bumper year, bumper quarter, where we've seen record performances. Now, talk to me about the continued work the group has been doing to deliver these kind of results.
We continue to innovate and to improve our platform. Obviously, at the same time, we're continuously employing people, training people, guiding people to increase our ability to distribute and to expand in existing geographies, in existing countries. And we saw really good growth, specifically on Q4. The lower ARPU that you see is actually in constant currency. It has not dropped. It was just the currency, it's the currency movements that makes the ARPU lower, but there is actually no drop in ARPU.
Now, talk to me about how you've been managing costs. You spoke there about, employing more people. I know the company really is investing in most of its units, operating expenses up 15%. Talk to me about that.
So we certainly, this year is going to be a year where we probably are expecting a little bit drop in margins, but we will get those drop in margins because we expect to really employ quite a lot of people, some in admin and others in sales and distribution, some in R&D. And typically people take 6 to 12 months before they really are what I would call able to contribute into, to their full capacity. There is a delay in that. So we certainly believe that this year is a year of an investment, and if we get great results out of that investment, then we'll continue to FY27. If we don't, we'll cut down employment and we'll focus on upskilling the people.
Zach, looking at the macro environment, we really are in uncertain times. Now, while Karooooo has been able to, weather tough trading conditions, I must ask if you've been factoring in the potential impact of those tariffs that we've seen coming through. Yes, they don't directly impact your business, but surely there are concerns around this.
Well, the reality is if I read the newspaper every day and I take the newspaper seriously every day, I'll never do anything with my life. So quite frankly, let's see where this all lands before we make a big decision, if that makes sense. And I believe that we shouldn't have a huge impact. It shouldn't have a huge impact on us. But I don't want to underestimate the macroeconomic environment. But I'm not good at second guessing macroeconomic environments and what will happen. I'm not very good at that. So I'll just focus on building the business without any noise and not factoring in any of these things because it's just too difficult. We haven't got the know-how to factor these things in.
All right, let's zoom in on those operations yet again. We are seeing growth in all the markets you operate in. Zooming in on Europe for a sec, what kind of growth are you seeing there? Zach, you've mentioned that investments on that front are starting to pay off. How have you been navigating that environment, just considering the macroeconomic issues also playing out there with really tepid growth?
So we grow at around 20% year on year at this point in time. There's a huge opportunity in Europe, in the existing countries we're in, also in new geographies. We're evaluating all of this, but we certainly believe we're going to get stronger momentum in FY26 in Europe. Things are looking very positive for us. I believe we've got a great opportunity to accelerate on our growth in Europe. So things are looking good for us.
And you're still seeing, further headway in terms of growth when it comes to Southeast Asia. Really a key market for Karooooo, right?
Yes. And if you look at our constant currency growth this year, you'll see it's, I haven't got the number in front of me, but it's around 30%. So we're getting really good growth in Asia. I think it's a great opportunity for us. We continue to do a lot of our R&D out of Asia, and I certainly believe that over the medium to long term, that will be our biggest market.
And let's bring it back to the African continent. I want to zoom in on Mozambique for a bit, and how the demonstrations on that front have weighed on operations. We saw the hit in Q3. I'm sure that still continued to play out in Q4 as well.
So there's been quite a lot of political riots. There's been a lot of property damage. A lot of our customers have had their factories burned, all their vehicles, their forklifts burned. So there's quite a bit of damage, and we're only really getting to assess the damage now.
Okay.
It appears to me on a political front, they've made some level of peace. Whether it will last or not last, or whether it's temporary, we are unable to evaluate that. And on the back of that, it's very difficult for us to sort of forecast the next 5-year model. So we forecasted a rather negative scenario, and that led to an impairment.
All right, thanks so much for your time and taking us through the company's numbers. That was Zach Calisto, CEO of Karooooo.